What's really interesting about us as human beings is our emotions are contagious. And for anybody that has toddlers, if a toddler starts crying in a room, just watch how quickly the rest of the room starts to cry, the rest of the toddlers. And it's because their emotion is contagious, but they don't know why they're crying. There's absolutely no reason for it. It's just one toddler started that off. And we have a system, and I'm not a scientist, but we do have a system called the limbic system. And it helps us with our emotions and things like this. But it's also, our emotions are contagious. So if I'm a particularly stressy manager or I'm a stressed manager, just like toddler, that stress can almost be contagious. We can make our team stressed as a result, just by purely not managing our own stress and our own behaviours as a result of that. And I'm not talking about unhealthy stress. Unhealthy stress needs to be acknowledged and it needs to be looked after, and that might be by a professional, but it might be how we appear to respond to pressure. Some of that is about emotional intelligence. It's perhaps about recognizing what causes us to feel pressure. What are those triggers? How we respond to those triggers. So there's an element of self-awareness in that, but also self-management. So how do we respond to those triggers? What behaviours do we exhibit as a result? Can we manage those behaviours? Are those behaviours helpful, or are they adding value? Or are there strategies that we can adopt ourselves that help us manage the appearance of those, so that our teams don't see it or experience it so much, so that they don't start taking on that sense of stress as well, when it's not actually being caused by their own work pressures or their own environments. It's actually being caught almost like a virus. And I have had experience of this in the past, where I've coached people who are managers of people and hold senior positions, and would enter meetings in demonstrating the behaviours of somebody that's experiencing considerable pressure. So perhaps their rate of speech was very, very high. Perhaps their tone of voice was higher than their normal speaking voice would be. And it's almost like this sense of panic or this sense of urgency that I need to get this information out really, really quickly, because it's one of the behaviours I'm exhibiting, because I'm really, really pressured at the moment. But the people in the room get a sense of urgency and get a sense of panic from that. And they're thinking, what are we panicking about? What's the urgency? And they almost pick it up and get that sense of panic and sense of urgency as well, when all you needed to do was perhaps regulate your rate of speech, or drop the tone of your voice a little bit and not sound quite so panicked. So as managers, perhaps we need to also reflect on our own responses to pressure and stress, whether that has an impact on our teams. But what I would also say as well is, if you believe that you are moving into that space of unhealthy stress, is being vulnerable with your teams and disclosing that, because perhaps your team might be able to help and alleviate some of that as well and work together.